Good morning, children. Welcome again to this new session. In the last session, we discussed about this Vedic civilization. Before that, I want to discuss that you appeared in this last week first periodic test exam, where most of you have done very nicely, but some of you have not done well. So children, it's my request to you that please attend the virtual classes regularly. It will be beneficial for you in every way. So let's come to the topic Vedic civilization, where in my previous session I discussed about the introduction part, that what does this Ved means. It means knowledge, and if we want to know about the Vedic period, then Veds are the main source of information. We also came across these four Veds: Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved and Atharva Ved. And this, where the main part of this topic is that this Vedic period is divided into two parts: early and later Vedic period. This early Vedic is called Rig Ved, and the later Vedic period is called Epic Age. Epic Age. Why it is called Epic Age? Ramayana and Mahabharata were some of the books written during this time, so that's why it is called Epic Age. Apart from that, Upanishads, Aranyakas, Brahmanas, all we will know about this. It was also a type of Vedic literature written during the later Vedic period. So this is all about this. Now we come to the next topic. Rig Ved contains the oldest Ved composed about 3500 years ago. This includes 1000 hymns. Now what does these hymns mean? It means sukta, that is well said. When you say something in praise of God, when you say something in praise of God, in praise of God, like Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the god of rain, like this. So hymn means when you say in praise of God. And those who composed it, they were called Irons, and their opponents were called Dasas. And that's why you will see that the people of this Iron Age in this Vedic civilization was called Aryans. Actually, nobody has proved that from where these Aryans belonged. Somebody say that they belong from Central Asia. Somebody believed that they had came from Afghanistan, Turkey, but nobody clearly has proved that from where these Aryans belonged. Next we come to political condition. Rig Ved means Rajas, mentions Rajas who were different from later Vedic kings. Now we will come across the difference between the early and later Vedic period. We will come across some of the points. The first difference between early and later Vedic period is that in early Vedic period there were no capitals, no palaces, no any collection of taxes in any form in early Vedic period. But in later Vedic period, all these things were present. So this is one of the difference. This is one of the difference between early and later Vedic period. These things were present in early Vedic period, not present in early Vedic period, but it was present in later Vedic period. Second difference is that in early Vedic period, kingship was not a hereditary one. But in later Vedic period, kingship was hereditary. This is the second point of difference. Now, what does this hereditary means? Hereditary means Vanshvad. Like if a father is a king, after that his son will become a king. That is a hereditary post. But that type of hereditary post was not present during early Vedic period. But it was very rigid, very common in later Vedic period. The third difference is that in early Vedic period, not so much big kingdoms or small kingdoms were there. But in later Vedic period, there were different types of kingdoms. Small kingdoms as well as big kingdoms. Small kingdoms, the king of small kingdom was called Raja, and the of large kingdom was called Samrat or Maharaja. And this large kingdom or large empire was called Rashtra. And the king was assisted by different officials. No such thing was present in early Vedic period. But different types of officials assisted king, like Purohit, which is called priest, Mantri, ministers, Senani, commander of army, and also Gramini, headman of the village. That time no head women were there. Nowadays, women have got the power. They are getting excellence in every fields. But that time, mainly male-dominated society was there, and so the head man was the only head of the village. Again, we come to the next difference is that in early Vedic period, this Sabha and Samiti was very much powerful. Now, what is the difference between Sabha and Samiti? Sabha means a group of 4-5 members, a small group of members, which comprises of elderly members. Village elders were the member of this Sabha. But Samiti, it comprises of a large assembly, large people comprises of this Samiti, and was responsible for policy making. So this is the big difference between Sabha and Samiti. Even nowadays you will also see that Samiti is there, like Mahila Samiti, different some types of Samiti which works for the betterment and of the woman. So this is only the main difference between Sabha and Samiti. Sabha is a small group, but Samiti is in the large form, you can say. And this were present only in early Vedic period. They were very much powerful and responsible for policy making. No such Sabha and Samiti was found in later Vedic period. And that's why the power of the king increased. The power of the king increased in the later Vedic period also. Some of the reason was also that they performed Raj, Surya and Ashwamedh yajnas. Raj, Surya, when the king used to perform this, when their power was increased. After conquering the kings of several other kingdoms and collecting tribute from the conquered land, the vanquished kings were invited to attend this Raj Surya Yagna. You can say, like, I'll just give you an example of this, that it was performed by Harishchandra, Rama, Dharmaraja and other prominent personalities. Any king who considered himself to be the most powerful and fit to be the emperor used to perform this ritual. So Rajasurya was a sort of ritual. Next is Ashwamedh Yajnas. That is horse sacrifice. Horse sacrifice. So the people, Ashwamedh Yajnas is a symbol of power and the recognition of a king. Mainly is the Ashwa means horse, and Ashwamedha means the sacrifice of horse. And why? What was this yajna? Ashwamedh yajna? It was a symbol of power and the recognition of king. And how they used to do? According to the Vedic texts, it has been said that only a victorious king can perform this sacrifice. During this sacrifice, a horse is set loose in the northeast direction, and with that horse, a small part of the royal army is sent. And any king that stops the horse from entering his territory must fight a war with the king who originally did the sacrifice. And so this, like a statement made by the king, that he is unchallenged. So you can say that this, according to the Vedic text, this is also one sort of ritual where a victorious king used to perform this sacrifice, and they used to let the horse free, loose, with some sections of army. So this was called Ashwamedh Yajnas. And when they used to do this, when this ritual was performed by the king, when they recognize themselves are very powerful, when they recognize that the king has got a large power, so to show that the symbol of power, they used to perform this ritual. So the Rasuri sacrifice was performed by the king to gain supreme power, and Ashwamedh was for declaring his power over a vast territory. This is only the difference. Rasuriya ritual was been done to show any of the king used to use this, perform this ritual to show that he is the supreme power. He is now having the enormous power. And Ashwamedh was declaring his power over a vast territory. Means whatever the neighboring territories were there, they should recognize that person, that king is more powerful. So all these two rituals increase the power of the king, and as the power of the king increased, the power of Sabha and Samiti was decreased. So this is the big difference between early and later Vedic period, that in early Vedic period the Sabha and Samiti was powerful, but in later Vedic period the king was powerful. In simple language you can come to know. So what were the differences in this political condition? That first difference we come across, that no capitals were there in early Vedic period, no palaces, no sort of taxes was collected, which was found in later Vedic period. Second difference is that kingship was not hereditary in early Vedic period, whereas this was there in later Vedic period. In early Vedic period, not so much small and big kingdoms were there, whereas all these small and big kingdoms were there in later Vedic period. Next we come to the point that Sabha and Samiti was very much powerful and they were responsible for policy making in early Vedic period, whereas as the power of the king increased in later Vedic period, no such importance was given to Sabha and Samiti in policy making, because king was assisted by different type of officials in later Vedic period, like Purohit, Mantri, commander of army, that is called Sanani, and also Gramini. Next we come to social condition. Previous what we had discussed, political condition. Next we come to the topic social condition. The main basic unit of the society was family. You will get a question from here. What is the basic unit of the society? Always, even today also, the basic unit of the family is family only. Why? Because every child is born in a family and learns the civic sense or basic things in a family. The eldest male member was the head, as I told you previously also, that time it was male dominated society, so male member was more powerful, and he was called Griha Pati. Griha means house, Pati means head. The head of the house was the eldest male member. So who was Grihapati? Eldest male member. Women were held in great respect. They were educated. Women like Apala and Gosha were even composed hymns. What is this hymns again? Previously only I have told you in praise of God. When you say something good, Sukt, that is called hymns. And who used to compose this? Women like Apala and Gosha. The participation of wife was essential in all religious ceremonies, but they were respected, but some social evils were also present in the society, which social evils like Sati Pratha, child marriage, which was unknown in early Vedic period, but it was found in later Vedic period, which led to the decline of woman condition later on. So if the woman condition was declined, one of the reason behind it was social evils, which was found in later Vedic period. So this is all about the social condition. Next is, do you know, just you go through this, you can see here the picture. Princes were allowed to choose their husbands by swambars. That time swambar was the very common trend during the ancient period, where all the princes were there and prince used to sit and the princess used to select one of them as husband. Chandalas were regarded as polluted or untouchables. Means they were separated from the society, they were untouchables. These people perform burials and cremations. Means they were being treated separately, because Varna system was very much rigid in this Vedic period. So they were treated as Shudras, you can see. And they used to perform this all burial and cremations. They had to live outside the village, use discarded utensils, wore iron. So this people used to wore iron ornaments and clothes of dead people. Overall, you can say that they were being treated as untouchables and they were separated from other three varnas. You can say they were treated as slaves, because this varna system was very much rigid in this Vedic period. So this is all about the social condition. In my next session, we will continue only the varna system, which is coming under this heading social condition. So children, you will go through this topic, and there is a homework for you, that you will make a table chart of Iron Age civilization, which is given in page number 95. Where there are 4 columns: civilization, religion, occupation and inventions of Greek, Roman and Iranian. So you will only write the 3 civilization of Iron Age: Greek, Roman, Iranian, what religion they followed, what occupation and inventions were done during that time. You can consult page number 95. It is there, and only you will write 3 civilization of Iron Age, because in detail you are studying about Vedic civilization. So go through the video carefully and do the homework and post in your WhatsApp group. Thank you, children.